Why'd I miss jail? Sorry, long post. For context, I only did 6 months on what was supposed to be a 2-year prison sentence but got out on determinate release and currently serving the rest of my probation. But I find myself often missing being in jail. No bills. No worries. Free water and hygiene products. Free food and 2 square meals a day in the jail I was in. The food wasn't the best and you ate beans and cornbread and slaw every other day, and all you had to look forward to was the Salisbury steak and the burritos they served on the menu rotation. It was stressful, but a different type of stress. It was the first time I've ever been incarcerated or charged with anything, and the chief of the jail would fuck with everyone in my pod a lot because I was in Gen Pop's work pod, but as long as you minded your P's and Q's, he'd leave you alone. He knew who was causing trouble and who wasn't. I've been unemployed for almost a month now because I'm a felon and no one will hire me, and life is quickly spiraling downward, and I've been thinking about this a lot. I know I messed up, but I never thought I'd get turned down from like McDonald's because of my charge. The environment was different. Yeah, sure, everyone was trying to work you over because you either had something they wanted or they wanted what you had, even if they had enough, but you just had to learn to play the game or get preyed upon, and once you learned how to not be a duck in the pond, it was a breeze. But am I weirdo for this? Life has been absolute hell since I've been out, and I haven't been able to catch a break, and stuff has steadily gone downhill, and my life in the work pod wasn't bad at all. Had something to keep me occupied most of the day, serving the food in the kitchen, and we got to eat like kings in there, and it was easy work. I miss it. I really do, and I met some great people in there that I told I would associate with once I was out. But they were into stuff like crack and meth and heroin or fent, and that's just not my game, and never has been, and I'm actively trying to improve my life and get away from certain crowds. But I lay awake at night sometimes thinking about sleeping on my terrible steel bunk and thin foam mat and all the books I can read. I've never had a very stable or consistent life outside of jail anyways. Can anyone else relate, or am I just an idiot? You can get a job in a restaurant, especially since you have experience from jail. Don't bother with the big chains which might have no felon policy. Walk into all the local small restaurants. Prepared to start working right now. Once you have a job, you'll have more structure in your life to build upon. Try to appreciate good things about being out, such as there isn't someone farting 2 feet over your head when you're in your bunk. Preventing felons who have already paid their debt to society from getting good or any jobs is the very definition of cruel and unusual punishment. You aren't a weirdo. Structure is nice. It can be hard to create one's own structure without outside constraints like a job. I am sorry you are struggling right now, but I believe in you. You can do this. You are most certainly not an idiot. Structure is peaceful, even when chaotic. Gotta find a trade. Welder, plumber, heavy equipment operator. Those jobs may hire with past record if you meet the right person. I know of some PPL with a past who got jobs making 6 figures. Recently a co-worker told me her husband has a felony and went into welding. Now that same person who was a felon is in charge of the company making 6 figures. Now he's been doing so good, working towards getting that expunged from his record. So keep hope alive. Where there's a will, there's a way. Always have option, man. Now just gotta work towards it if you really want it. Yeah, I did 10 years inside. One of those in jail before prison. I read your whole post, but I didn't need to after the title. My life is in shambles right now. I did better in prison. No question. I think, just think. Not know that it was easier because I was able to blame others for specific problems. Chow is late? Fucking outsourcing to Aramark. Count as taking 5 hours? Fucking COs that wanna keep us locked down. And so on. But now? There's nobody to blame. The whole world is burning down and there is no target. No specific cause. I have to take responsibility for my own in the midst of everything sucking. And it sucks. Look for places that do open hiring. They don't ask about felonies. It's worth a Google. Grayston Bakery are famous for it. The Body Shop Cosmetics Company does it. There are more out there. I'm sure. Good luck. Hey man, just a heads up if you don't mind hard work, look at construction. We hire felons but they can't go on certain jobs. Maybe 2 in 10 make it, which is about the same ratio as everyone else. Construction job might help. Lots of exercise and a sense of accomplishment. Slightly different, but I guess I like being in the military for similar reasons. A structured lifestyle. Cheap housing. Free medical and dental care. Access to free 24-hour gym facilities. I'm terrified of leaving for similar reasons as you've listed. I was a CO for about a year and I definitely empathize. I saw many inmates who were like yourself. We all need a hand up sometimes, and it sucks that society continues to punish you even though you're trying to get your life together. I don't have any advice. But to say keep pushing and don't give in. Prison jail is for nobody and isn't a life worth living. Why don't you open a YouTube channel to give an account of your experience in jail and after? I'm not saying you'll instantly become a YT celebrity. But if you have interesting stuff to share with the public, you may make some money down the line. Costs are pretty much free anyway, just need a mobile laptop with internet connection and you never know. Some viewers of yours could offer you a job too. Check out some prison YouTubers. Jay Williams, Larry Lawton, Lockdown 23 and 1. They might give you some insight into what you're going through. Also, our prison is a good resource. Your story is full of insight and shows the tremendous difficulties that ex-convicts face. Our society has to find a way to implement better transition programs for ex-convicts. Job placement programs are at the top of the list, most certainly. The loneliness you feel is becoming more common throughout our society in young single men in particular, and is one of the saddest trends. Is there a program that you can apply for that at least provides for counseling support and maybe job placement? Plenty of people experience what you're describing as being institutionalized, which you've probably heard. Basic needs like shelter and food are human rights, and you should look to demand them outside of prison, as many do, rather than fuel the prison industrial complex. You are entitled to these things regardless of whether or not employers think you should starve. Consider joining the military. You will need to get a waiver and your probation will need to be over. It is the burden of freedom weighs you down. The burden of choice that cages you. Are you Ricky from Trailer Park Boys? On a serious note, I hope you find some peace and structure in your life outside the pen. It's very simple. Look at Dr. K's video "You Suck at Life" and you will understand why. I can relate, having been in a psych ward, and the one thing it could be is how healthy it is for the mind and soul to be around people all day is. Out in the real world everything moves slower. People are more distant and we're all in isolation with our screens seemingly. Dude, I literally have the same story as you. I went to jail earlier this year and was released in March. It's been hell trying to get a job as a felon, and I missed the days in jail where everything was a breeze. My jail surprisingly had good food. I'm talking chicken, penne, burgers, everything. And the people you met in there you sort of form a brothership with. It sucks to say, but I was like, damn, after my last few days being there I didn't want to leave. Try warehouse jobs on Indeed. I know a few people with records that got jobs there. And don't worry about getting rejected from McDonald's. Low pay and high stress isn't worth it.